tell us a little bit about yourself and S&P, because everybody talks about S&P, but it means something different.
First and foremost, thank you very much for inviting me to talk at AWS event about QuickSights. My team has been using QuickSights for probably a year plus now, and we have been building a lot of applications, more external facing applications. Going back to your question, I lead platform services in S&P Global Commodity Insights. Again, as everybody would have heard about, S&P Global is a big data company. You have heard about index. It's very easy to relate with S&P 500 index, ratings, and other things. Commodity Insights, specifically, right? We are the leading provider of respected benchmarks, perspectives, and solutions to commodities and energy markets. Our clients, customers trust our data to build and then come up with like a decisions with conviction, because we are a data company, and we want to surface up data to our clients in various different forms. Dashboarding is one of those forms.
Fantastic, thank you. And so, tell us a little. Who are your customers that you're actually providing data to?
The customers are the big major energy companies, are utilities. You can talk about traders from the financial services also, like who trade on the commodities bill side of a business.
Okay, fantastic.
And the applications that we use quick dashboarding and we deliver data, they are external clients. They are not the internal, right? Because we have our internal clients also, like who build, generate insights, but here we deliver data to our external clients.
Okay, fantastic. So the insights are pretty important to them.
Absolutely, because they are making decisions related to the investments. Nobody wants to lose money, right? So everybody wants to make the perfect decisions ever, right? So that's where, it is extremely important for them.
Absolutely. So thank you. So I have a question. We're going to kind of go back in time a little bit and help us understand, how were you providing and what information were you providing to your customers?
We can take a few examples as such, right? Because S&P Global Commodity Insights provides information as in the current benchmarks, the price reporting for all the commodities in the world. At the same time, we do provide price forecast, supply and demand forecast, along with some of the engineering solutions, right? Like if I have to invest in certain asset in a certain location, what would my yield of returns will be as. So that's what the data is. But some of the examples that we're going to talk about where we use dashboarding is about, let's take one commodity like North American gas, right? So what is the price forecast, supply and demand, and other things about North American gas. Another thing that we can talk about is world refinery databases. It's like we have a whole list of all world refineries. We track them about their outages, what the impact on the outages are going to be, and then because each impact on outage can also have an impact to supply, and supply impacts can have impact on pricing.
So how are you providing this data to your customers?
We in S&P Global Commodity Insights, we are on a journey of digitizing all our products and bringing like a next generation technologies to our clients. Today we have an application, an external facing application that is one of the more that we deliver our products via our data to our clients. The data which is currently going in is more, as you see on the screens, it is being delivered as PDF reports, because all of this analytics with numbers, charts, and graphs are generated in PDF reports, and then the PDF reports are available on our portal, and they are also delivered via emails and other mediums to our clients. So they are daily reports. Some of them are typed weekly reports, and monthly reports are the various different reports that get generated and it gets sent out to our clients for the decisions that they have to make for whatever investments they will be at.
Okay, so you were delivering these via PDF, so they had that great opportunity of searching for the insights that they were looking for.
Yeah, they will have to go through whatever the size of the PDF is, right? If there are 50-page PDF, they will have to go through it. Of course, they are sophisticated folks. They know what they're looking for. But yes, they will have, it is a lot of manually intensive work to just scan through it.
A lot of manual work. So that's fantastic. So tell us, go into the story, of why you started looking into, you said you were going through this transformation, this digital transformation. Why did you start going through that process?
So as we all know, the user experience is a key driver, right? What we deliver, how much value that we bring to our clients, that has always been the most important part for in our thought process and what technology that we bring in-house. PDFs are great. It is delivering the data in some ways, but there are a lot of, I would say, limitation. It's static. Static is like I cannot interact with it, right? I cannot just say like to some level of what if scenarios. And at the same time, we want to bring those PDFs and to the next experience in having a lot of interactivity, like different type of filtering and different type of dashboarding for our clients itself. And at the same time, PDFs also, I would say, does not allow us to track like what is really of important interest to our clients. By digitizing this on a dashboarding, you can also understand like what areas of data where the clients are more and more interested in, and that way at least we can pay more attention towards more investments and give better value to our clients.
So really a customer focus. We love.
Yes, we are customer first.
Right, and it's so important to be able to focus on the customers and their experience and what they're doing. And I love the insights that you provided of looking at just being able to track.
Yeah.
And be able to understand their experience. Are they receiving value and are they seeing what they need?
Correct.
So that's fantastic. And it's always hard to filter a PDF.
Exactly.
Right, it doesn't work very well. So as you go through this process, did you go through the process of deciding, do we build it, do we buy it,
Absolutely right. Any like a great technology firms, all other technologies in nature, they will go through the evaluation phase, right, to understand like what technology that they need to bring in order to support the needs of the day. So we did go through the whole process of evaluation. Went through like a major BI technologies in the marketplace which are there, and also in like AWS QuickSight along with it. And based on our evaluation and various different factors, which we'll speak about also, is we decided to choose QuickSight over the others.
Fantastic. And how much of the consideration in going through this process was cost? Was it just an open checkbook of like, it's whatever we want, or how much of a consideration was cost?
Cost is always a consideration. Nothing is an open checkbook because we always, again, what the whole idea thought process is, as we're bringing value to our clients, how at what cost, right? And that yes, it's absolutely cost is a big consideration also in addition of everything.
All right.
But it's not the only, but yes.
It's not the only, but it is a consideration.
It is.
I think I get it, yeah. So let's ask some questions about the architecture.
Sure. So, hi Prashant. My name is Bautik Shah. I'm a senior solution architect for QuickSight. So I have a couple of questions. So would like to go over your architecture, the current architecture, which is based on QuickSight.
Sure. I don't know whether we need to bring that up first. No. So
There we go.
Cool. So the architecture, I'll break down the architecture in two different blocks. One is the architecture to build the dashboard, is like how we are sending data for the QuickSight and the dashboards to be built out. S&P Global Commodity Insight has a lot of data stores, and we are using a lot of technologies underneath also. We have we are using AWS RDS Postgres databases. We have S3 buckets. We have Databricks that we use, and many other databases that you see on the slide over here. What we did is like the first part of the architecture is about like bringing all this data in the Spice store, right? As Rohit was mentioning about the Spice store is a high performant cache layer, which is going to improve the performance of the dashboarding itself. So we brought the data sets that were important enough to include into the Spice layer. And from there, we had authors, QuickSight authors, to build whatever the dashboard needed to be built as. The second part of the architecture is, I think we probably skipped a couple of things and we may go back later on, is about the embedding piece. Like when we go from the client, right, we have an external facing application. We have iframe QuickSight dashboard in that external facing application. Now, one question can come around for the technologists in the room is, how do you decide which dashboard is needed? We don't want to hard code each and every iframe for each and every dashboard. So as an architecture, we use a tagging system, like we search QuickSight, we call QuickSight APIs based on a certain tags. It gives us a dashboard ID, and then we call those APIs with the user ID, saying that give me a signed token to access the dashboard, and that's how we enable the dashboard embedding into our application.
Okay, that's really great. So, how many users you are working with right now? How many users you have?
So external users for the external facing application is 20,000 plus users that they are accessing it. Things are. So it's pretty large user community. It is still a journey. We are continuing on in building all the dashboards that we need to build. But it is a work in progress.
Okay, so how many of them are authors and readers?
We have, I think the major chunk is they are readers because they are the consumers of the dashboard. I think we have very small subset, those like around 15 authors, which are internal users of QuickSight. They are the ones who develop these dashboards. They are the SMEs of the commodity in play. Because you cannot want to just give a technology saying that go and build something, right? They have no idea what to do, right? The SMEs are the best people who will be able to build the dashboard which are relevant for the client's use cases.
Okay, that's great. So, and the volume of data we are dealing with?
A good question. We have hundreds of thousands of data points loaded up in Spice. Now, as part of the Spice capacity and the data, the amount of data store is like around 200 to 250 gigs is what we have loaded up in Spice. And there are multiple tables, so that's where we are able to join and also and provide different dashboards, right, for different commodities, because we have multiple commodity dashboards which we have been working on. So again, we don't want to mix everything together.
Absolutely. So, as Rohit mentioned in the start, that there are like lot of features, right? So, can you name a couple of features which you are using it currently in your dashboards?
The first part is like we are using the dashboards, which is most of the things coming out of the box. Some of the features that we are working on, Spice, it was one of the capacity, the Spice data store. We use it for our performance needs reasons. We are investigating on QuickSight Q. We are still researching more because we have a much broader use case for QuickSight Q. So we are working on that. We are also looking into like how do we want to do the theming. Rohit also mentioned about like how the pages of the parent application and the QuickSight itself looks close enough, and we need to match it. We don't want like this a look which is not consistent. So we are also looking at a dark theming, because as a parent application, we want to enable users' preference to come up as saying that whether they prefer light themes or dark themes, and we are changing those themed dashboards on the fly.
Okay, okay. So another quick question is like, how is there's a change in the reporting from PDF to QuickSight. How was your users' adoption, from change in environment?
So user experience has been pretty awesome in this front. The feedback that we have received from the users is excellent, because things that they were not able to do in the past, they are now able to do, right, in a way. Because as looking at the forecast, I think there's a slide one ahead, if you can go back. Yes, this one. This slide is very dumb right now. It just shows a bunch of line, but there is a lot of insights over here. This is the slide. What it shows is like it's a forecast of North American gas. Every month, whenever the forecast is generated, we are plotting that side by side. So it's like if there is any deviation in the forecast which is coming up, it is very interesting for the traders of the world to understand how and why those deviations of the forecast is changing. So that's why these are the things users cannot do on a PDF reports. Otherwise, they will have to do a lot of manual work in order to compare each other. Here, they can simply select, like, let me see the forecast date selection. You can pick and say, like, forecast, whatever the dates of the forecast is. You can pick those and compare any 2 or 3 or all of this forecast against each other.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's so great. By any chance, tell us about how important is the scalability for you, like overall?
It's absolutely very important, because one of the things that we said is that the number of users and how much of data that we send out to our clients. scalability is extremely important, and that's one of the reasons, right? When Rich asked about cost, right? What were the dimensions why we picked QuickSight? There are three specific dimensions that we had. One was cost, right? About how we will ramp up, what the onboarding things cost will look like. Second one is the scalability, because of, I would say, what I use like AWS scale. We can leverage AWS scale along with this instead of managing our own infrastructure and probably like scaling as we need by. So because of the flexibility of AWS scale, that was extremely important for us. And the third one was also onboarding. Whenever we want to get onto QuickSight, we don't have to get a lot of infrastructure stood up, IT teams to configure those infrastructures, software to be deployed. It's there. You just click a bunch of buttons over there and you're ready to go.
Okay, that's great. Is there a way you can demo?
Absolutely. I have my laptop over there. I can just demo a couple of dashboards that we have, because what you saw on the screenshot was pretty dumbed down version of things. You will see that in the demos, there are multiple, each dashboard have multiple tabs, and each is deep for the insights that it can bring up. Let me get over. So this is our external facing application. It's S&P Global Platts Dimension Pro. Now this is going to zoom in. This is one of the dashboard. This is about the refineries, and you will see like where the refinery outages we are plotting on in the geospatial map. Whole bunch of filters that we can look at, and it's like if you look at the different type of charts and graphs that we plot for a user. So this is the amount of data that we survey. This is just one tab of the dashboard. You can look at. There are so many other tabs over here. And many things that we have been providing as a PDF report, we are also providing it out on the dashboard.
So what is the frequency of your refresh?
So there are different data sets, and we have scheduled it for different type of refresh ones, what brings into Spice. Typically, I think every couple of hours, I think we refresh these data sets, and that's what it makes it more interactive, because if there is an event or something that happens, we don't want to send out PDF reports to our the users can go in and just look at what the impact or events that are occurred. Again, this is just one of the multiple dashboards. There are other dashboards like about the North American gas we were talking about earlier.
So these are all as an embedded into your application, right?
Yes, yes. So this is the parent application. We have this Platts PDP or Platts Dimension Pro, and all of this on the menu you see, it's all the parent application. Underneath it is all QuickSight. Yep.
Thank you so much for sharing this. This is fantastic. I know that we wanted to leave a little bit of time for our audience to be able to ask questions. So, are you okay? Still okay answering some questions? So we would ask, anyone in the audience, if you have questions of them, either what they showed or going through that process of selecting and building.
I can just add one more thing. One of the more things we are talking about the data getting loaded up via pull request, right? Like getting into Spice. We are also working on the push. So it's like as the data changes, as the things are, so it becomes more and more real time. We are also looking into those aspects of it, right? So like it's great. We are taking a journey from PDF reports to more dashboards. So with increasing the user interactivity. Now from there on, how can we make it as much real time as possible? So those are the kind of the data refreshes where we're going with. Yep.
Do we have a mic that we can pass around?
Just want to say your dashboards are really impressive. That looks amazing. Quick question: what impacted your decision as to whether or not to have the data updated every few hours as opposed to constant streaming?
The first part is like the data that is coming in. It goes through a lot of data science processes as such. So that's one of the reasons, right? Because it does not come in first. We collect data from various different sources. It undergoes the data, all the ETL processes and also data science modeling as such. So it really did not have a need for us to be like extremely real time on that. But if there is any data sets that we can bring, we can push it as soon as possible. That's what our goal is. But just because there is a lot of upstream processes before it gets into the hands of the client, that's one of the reasons why right now we are pulling it every hour or two. But what we are implementing is why we want to schedule it, because if any process for, let's say, changes or the time schedule changes, we still have 1 or 2 hour of lag. We want to now start doing the push instead of pull. That's what we are working on right now.
Hi. So I just want to ask, like, how do you maintain your user? Is it you yourself maintaining the user base, or you using any capability from QuickSight itself?
Both, right? So as a parent application, we have our user community, right? So, and we maintain all entitlements and things in a parent application itself. But what we are also doing is, when we are calling the APIs, we are creating the users automatically in the QuickSight system itself. Why we are doing it? We are not actively using that now, but as I think there was some reference, I think Rohit mentioned about row-level security and stuff. We can start implementing row-level security and all those pieces on the data sets as we go along. So we are automatically creating it through the APIs, and when the dashboard needs to be loaded up, we request the dashboard to be loaded up only for that user. So we get a token for that user.
And one more question. So suppose you want to change some dashboard. So I believe it goes to a process from dev to finally to production.
Yes.
How does this deployment process?
Right.
Are you using some automated scripts behind the scene?
Absolutely. We have automated all the deployment process to the extent possible. So for the good part about here is we have the mindset that we have used is a dashboard is a content, right? It's not a software development things, because the dashboards are built by the SMEs, the analysts of the world. So that's a content, and that's the value that they're delivering to the client. So we have narrowed down the whole process as much as possible, so we can change and deploy a dashboard in probably days turnaround time.
So very impressive dashboards. My question is related to the data sets and pulling them in the data science, so to speak. What is the effort which is required to normalize such a data set on your back-end middleware in order to have the data available in those dashboards? Because it seems like there is a lot of information, and typically there is a huge data set that you need to normalize.
Yes, just so that I understand your question correctly, I'll try to answer it. But if it's not the right question, let me know. We collect tons and tons of, like, billions and billions of data sets along from it. What is getting to QuickSight is all the things that we want external clients to see. So in between, there is a lot of transformation that is happening, most of the ETL, and also the modeling and other steps which are happening. And for the final product, which is the output of that, that is the one what we are pushing down to a QuickSight.
So the question is on that part, what's the effort which is required to give that input to insights?
The way is like from the QuickSight, we have connectors, right? We can just connect straight to that. Maybe I'm not.
My question is the processing of the data itself.
Okay.
Because in the insights, you actually see the end product, the names, everything is visible for the customer in his language.
Right.
Basically, when it comes from a database, it's gibberish for the customer.
Okay.
Like you said previously, it was mentioned that customer is not interested in reading data; they want to see the insights.
Right.
So what's that effort that on your back end entails to create that data set that can be presented?
So you're talking about the input databases, or
the process.
Oh, the process. Okay. So the first is that the final data set is always curated. We have a well-defined naming constructs on that, and that's what we put it to the QuickSight side of it. What we push into the Spice data store, and that is, again, it's not gibberish, right? Because it's a technologist like us, we can understand many of those things, not the end users. Now, once the authors are also defining and creating those dashboards, that's what then goes on to the front end for external clients. We have not exposed out author functionality, authorship to the external clients yet, because again, as you saw, there are big giant dashboards. We have a lot of content for our clients to consume anyway. Eventually, a goal is bring an ability to bring your own data, create your own scenarios. Those are the future roadmaps that we have. We are working on that. We are trying to figure out like how we will be able to solve those problems yet. So we are still a long way to go in our journey.
Would you give us any insights on the team structure? I think the previous presenter was talking about decentralized versus centralized teams. And
That's a
SMP.
good question.
Yeah.
We are working as a decentralized model. We have a core the teams that I work under in my group, they are core engineers. They are the one who have set up the framework, set up the system, and how the dashboards will be published, how the dashboard and the APIs and everything will be controlled, what kind of a standard that we'll use for tagging, how the dark theming or what we're talking about, we will enable that. But the dashboard itself, we decentralize it because we want the SMEs of that commodity to build their own dashboards. So that's how we are looking at it. Again, if you want to look up, there is a well-known design pattern in the data world called data mesh, which has been promoted a lot more by ThoughtWorks. We are very much moving on those lines. Okay.
Any other questions? If not, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.